God said He's giving you the strategy for the next move. And you know that you want to hear the voice of God before you make the next move, before you sign that contract, before you go into business with that person, before you start that business, before you take the next job opportunity. You want to hear from God. So the Lord said, I am giving you the strategy for your next move. And I researched and I found a few verses I want to share with you that David got for when he got his strategy to strategically win the battle. 1 Chronicles 14:13-17. It said, once more the Philistines raided the valley. So David inquired of God again, and God answered him, do not go directly after them, but circle around them and attack them in front of the poplar tree. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the poplar trees, move out to battle, because that will mean God has gone out in front of you to strike the Philistine army. So David did as God commanded him, and they struck down the Philistine army all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. So David's fame spread throughout every land, and the Lord made all the nations fear him. It says, and David inquired of God again. It simply means that David had gone to God. He had asked him how to fight this battle. But maybe God didn't answer the first time. Maybe he got an answer, but yet still he inquired again. So some of you got some direction. You got a word how to move forward, but nothing has happened with the first strategy. So it's time for you to get back to God and inquire of him again. And then when you go back, he's going to give you the strategy for the next move, because he said, I am giving you the strategy. So he wants you to come back and ask him, Lord, what is the strategy for my next move in the next season or for my next level? Many times we forget that God gives us a strategy to win wars that we don't have to fight alone, because we know that God fights all of our battles. But what if we begin to ask God for the strategy for everything in life? Strategy how to be a good wife or husband. Strategy how to build a productive or profitable business. Strategy to be loving and kind to other people. Strategy of becoming a better money manager or steward of wealth. So we have to go back, keep on going back to God, ask him, what is the strategy? What is my move for the next season? What is my move for the next level? And then God will give you the strategy to move. It is time for you to go back and ask him, what is the strategy for my next move or my next season? God wants to give you a strategy, but he wants you to ask him. So I want you to do this today. I want you to desire to do things God's way. Learn to trust him for his strategy and stop using yours, because so far it hasn't gotten you to the place that you want to be. So trust God to lead you into your next move and your next season with his strategy, not your strategy. Be blessed.